Ravi, let's get straight to it. Between Gurgaon and Noida, of course, lots of pros and cons, and a lot of people will possibly decide based on where they're going to be working. But if I'm making an investment in the NCR region, would you place your money on Gurgaon or on Noida?
So if I were to take a step back and draw a parallel between Gurgaon and Noida, I think both have their positives. Gurgaon on one side gains on the image. It is also very established as a commercial destination, and it has great commercial activity ongoing. IT companies, multinationals, they've made it a second or their first front office activities are happening out of that region. Gurgaon is also considered to be a little speculative when it comes to investment talk, and therefore we've seen some 15-20% correction already taken place. So these are some of the positives and negatives. But talking about Noida, if I were to draw a parallel, Noida seems to be far more connected, more affordable. The prices there are reasonable to enter. The base prices are quite low as compared to Gurgaon. And I think the infrastructure there is far more promising. From a long-term appreciation, I think given the price, base price being as low as half of Gurgaon, when you compare, let's say, the Noida Expressway with, let's say, the golf course extension, which are the thoroughfares of new construction activity, clearly Noida will see a little more uptake in the price appreciation for the actual investor.
Well, I'm glad you finally picked Noida because your pros and cons sort of added up and they were sitting on the fence, the two of them. So Ravi says Noida. Jayashree, you're in Noida right now and you live in Gurgaon. So you tell us, which one do you prefer?
Faye, Ravi is right in weighing the pros and cons. I would say that in Noida, the cycle will be shorter, because the projects are underway and it is livable. The infrastructure is all there, and as soon as the projects come up, it's going to be ready to live. And therefore, it is a large part of the Greater Noida expressways are driven by end users, people who work in this vicinity or who feel that this is the project that they can afford, and therefore they are putting their money in. Gurgaon is a longer-term story. Gurgaon does not have infrastructure. It's a serious concern in terms of roads, connectivity and so on. If you look at Dwarka Expressway, where I think a lot of investment has come in the last couple of years, 4 to 5 years, and you've seen that the infrastructure has just not taken off. But there's one part of Gurgaon that I would like to talk about, and that is the Sona sectors. This is not Sona Road, this is Sona proper, where 29 sectors have been carved out by the government. The affordable housing segment is going to come up here, and the government is putting a lot of push into the Sona areas. I personally feel that it may take off faster than the Dwarka Expressway.
So Sona within Gurgaon. Now, obviously you said Noida, but Noida is massive. There are different sectors, and of course now there's Greater Noida to consider as well. If I were to ask you to narrow it down to the areas that you think will see the most growth within Noida, what would you tell us?
I think the Noida Expressway, all the location alongside that entire belt of the Noida Expressway, abutting that belt, is a great buy today. Prices have corrected, as I said, and one could actually get great negotiated deals. If one were looking at far more affordable pricing, one could go a little more further towards the Yamuna Expressway, but that's like really back and beyond. But again, well connected, the Taj Expressway to Agra is a very talked about infrastructure project there, which may see light of the day, and therefore we will see some traction eventually in the medium term in those locations.
Jayashree, very quickly, we've got the Sona sector and we've got Noida Expressway. Is there anything you'd like to add to that as areas where you expect to see the most growth?
I went by the site and said, where is the maximum activity? 71 to 78, definitely there's a lot of activity. And on the Greater Noida Expressway, we found that sector 137 and 143 seem to be standout sectors. In Gurgaon, the golf course extension is really expensive, but there's a sector 51, where there is a large number of cooperative group housing societies coming up, which seems to be nearing completion, and there is a lot of traction among the middle class.
All right, so if we look at our tally on the screen right now, it does seem like Noida has won between the two guests who've listed out pros and cons. It does seem like Noida is a smarter choice. And of course, we got a list, Noida Expressway, Sona sectors. In Noida, sector 71 to 78, sector 51 in Gurgaon. Like always, we've also asked our guests to give us recommendations within the sectors that were just mentioned that would possibly make sense for you. Take a look. If you're looking to buy a home in Gurgaon or Noida, here are some options for you. Manor 1 by Kashish Developers. Aryan City by Raheja Developers, Florina Floors from Today Homes, Florence Estate by the Krish Group, London Square by the Ajnara Group, Mahagun Mazaria by the Mahagun Group, Civitech Sampriti and Sikka Kama Greens in Noida.